In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning and welcome to another Sunday edition of In the Know. Enjoying the ramp up to the big holiday weekend, joined by Rochelle City Manager Jeff Fiegenschuh. Good morning.
Hey, Charles. How you doing?
Doing great. Glad to have you here. It's been a wild summer in and around Rochelle. Let's talk a little bit about the city business and the city plans. A lot was in the works all summer long. How are we progressing on all those summertime projects before we run out of weather?
It's been going great. We've actually had really good weather for construction. You know, the water tower repainting, which started last year, finished up this year. It was, last year I think was like one of the windiest years we've had, and it slowed things down. But we completed that project. You don't see it too much, but out there it's Karen Road, and the well number 8 is coming along very nicely. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see some of the pictures that I had posted. A lot of work out at the wastewater treatment plant, phase 2 of the phosphorus removal project, and that should be wrapped up this year. And then a lot of the road work is coming along. Karen Road and Creston Road is completed, and the sidewalk program on the south side of town is moving along and will be completed on time. So a lot of stuff going on, and we just had really good weather and been able to keep up with it. Yeah.
There's also the multi-use path out there down south as well, right?
Oh, yep. That was part of a development project, and so the developers, we had a surety bond that helped fund that, and that's coming along too. So, yeah, the weather's been very cooperative this year, and we've been able to continue to get those projects done. And then there's a lot of stuff you really don't see that's coming close. Downtown, we're going to underground those utilities at the major parking lot. That bid was approved last month, and that work will start in September. And we've been working on securing easements for our new substation. And so that's come along slower than I'd hoped, but we're progressing. And so, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see the hard work getting done, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that needed to be completed. And then you were out last week at the groundbreaking for the new transload expansion. So that'll start this year, and hopefully we get that done next year with cooperative weather and a cooperative economy.
And that transload expansion, just to explain what it is, the city of Rochelle has their own railroad, and the mayor loves to talk about having his own railroad.
We're one of the few cities in the country, and I'm pretty sure we're the only city in the state of Illinois that owns our own short line railroad. So, it's a very unique situation, and that transload operation is partially owned by GREDCO, the Greater Rochelle Economic Development Corporation. And we received a grant through the DOT to expand it, and essentially people bring their products in on rail cars, and then they transload them onto trucks and take them out on 39 or 88 and get their products where they need to go. But it's a great opportunity for local business to market their products and increase their supply chains. Because
it goes both ways, because you can also load there, I assume, as well.
Yep. So it's it's a great opportunity, and it's a good partnership. It's a very good example of a partnership, a public-private partnership between a government entity, an economic development entity, and then you've got the BGRY, the Burlington Junction Rail, which actually operates it for us, and then you've got companies like CHS that utilize it. So it's a very good partnership and a good example of what public-private partnerships can do for a community.
And this expansion is going to add a bunch more rail so that more train cars can be parked there for a longer period of time or shorter period of time, I guess, so that companies aren't always on a time crunch, I suppose, to get their stuff in or out.
Right, and that's revenue for the city and GREDCO. And those rail dollars are public dollars, but we don't call them tax dollars. It's rail revenue, and we use that to expand our rail operations, and we also use that to fund the quiet zone, and we've used it to help fund other community development type projects. So the rail utility is a huge asset to our community.
And since Global 3 is no longer a thing and hasn't been for some time, the recent news of the major merger, if you followed this, in rail, where I believe the Union Pacific Norfolk Southern merger, of course, UP runs through town, and with the closure again of Global 3, it's great to see, I suppose, Union Pacific expanding and getting that coast-to-coast route they want. But, boy, wouldn't it be great if Global 3 would fire back up in some form?
Yeah, it would be, but I don't think that's ever probably going to happen. I don't want to be a pessimist about it, but I don't think they ever utilized it to the extent that they had planned. I don't remember the percentages, but it was never fully utilized. So, good for them. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on the merger. I don't know enough about it, but I do know that there are, their goals coast to coast, and that's a project that's outside of the purview of the city of Rochelle.
But boy, if they could fire up Global 3, that'd be great. So if you could start getting trucks in and out of that place and get them on the interstates and help drive the economy in Illinois, that'd be appreciated. Speaking of economy, it's been a little bit of a rough last couple of years in Rochelle in regards to employers, major sort of players in the area, either downsizing or some companies have been lost. And I've asked you this before. I know you guys focus on trying to keep the existing companies here and bringing in new companies, but it's got to be tougher and tougher, it seems like, every month.
Yeah, it's just it's a different economy right now. There's a lot of hesitation. Folks, just holding off because they don't know what's going on, whether it's interest rates or the tariffs or whatever. We just, as I told you before, for a lack of better terms, you deal with the hand you're dealt, right? And we're doing the best that we can. Dealing with the situation is outside of any of our control, right? And so, what I've said in the past is our job is to create an environment that's conducive to economic growth, and that's what we try to do. Our tax levy has remained flat. I sent you that article the other day on the utility rates, and we commented back and forth on where ComEd is. Our utility rates have they've gone up a little bit on the base rate, on the meter charge, but the actual rate's gone down. So overall, our rates have been steady. So we do everything we can at the local level, but sometimes things happen that are outside of our control, and it's just how we handle them and deal with them. And so we're going to continue to try to provide an environment where there's reliable utilities, and we work with our school districts to provide good schools and all the good infrastructure that these businesses want and desire, and doing it in the most affordable way possible. And then everything else is just we'll just deal with it as it comes.
And the sort of the macroeconomic scale, when Rochelle works hard to support individual businesses, whether it's a facade grant for an existing company, right, or just general improvements in and around properties, whether it's putting in a pocket park, things like that, to help sort of improve the neighborhood. That's been going well. But then you have other things like the Gateway TIF District, the old grocery store behind the Arby's there, where you guys have worked really hard to sort of get the ball rolling to make it more appealing for a business to come in, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of movement there right now.
Yeah, there isn't. We actually have, I'm not going to get too much into it, we do have one developer that's looking at bringing in a business, and we've been working with them Michelle's been working with them for about a month and a half behind the scenes, but you don't see that, right?
Yeah.
That all happens with conversations, talking about, platting property and rezoning or in some instances annexing in. So there's a lot of steps that go forward before a company's ready to announce that they're coming to your community. It has been slow, but that's okay. I mean, when we set the TIF up, we didn't expect that 30 businesses were going to come. Hey, you've got this new TIF district. We knew it was going to be a slow go, and it has. And we've had some businesses looking out at the tech park at some of the lots that the city owns. So there's been a lot of discussions in the background. But again, we can provide certain tools, but if they decide not to pull the trigger and either relocate here or locate here, for whatever reason, that's out of our control, right? So sometimes you're dealing with the city doesn't own the property, so you're dealing with a private property owner and a developer, and maybe they can't come to terms on the price of the property. That's completely out of our control. So yeah, we do the best that we can with the tools that we're given, and I do think hopefully we'll announce some positive developments either in that TIF or out by the tech center here in the next month or so.
The Hickory Grove property, things that the city does own, that's going to get carved up into a couple of different things. First off, a space for water, detention area. At least it'll be a grass area that water could flow into in the event of a torrential rain, which we never have any of those around here.
We don't have those. It would be a detention area for the 38 and 251 corridor, especially as they when we go through the reconstruction, because that whole intersection is going to be reconstructed hopefully in the next couple of years. But the good thing about using that back area where the grass is, I mean, if you think about it, it's already water detention. It's been grass for 5 years. It can be used as compensatory storage for any development that goes along the goes along the west side that abuts 251. So if somebody develops that, because the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended and the City Council voted to replat the property, so now all that's taken care of and we can actually market it as one whole lot. We're able to work through some of the issues with the hotel owner, issues in that they own some property and we own some property that needed to be switched. And then the condos they were working on an agreement with the hotel operator, and that all finalized. So we're at a point now where we can actually market this thing. But the good news about using some of the grass area for water storage is it can be used for compensatory storage for any development along 251. So I do think that will save significant dollars for any development, because we do, in our code, we require on-site storage or increased storage for water because of issues like we had yesterday on Tuesday, where we had multiple inches of rain in less than an hour. So, but I'm excited. We're going to look at spinning out another RFP on the Hickory Grove site and see if we have any interested developers. But again, it's just with what's going on in the economy, and we've heard from some businesses they're waiting just to see if interest rates come down, because then their borrowing costs. So I don't want to sit here and say we're going to have a development tomorrow or even in the next year, but we're certainly going to market the property more now that we have it set up in such a way where we can actually say this is one full piece.
And existing developments, too. You're doing some work there. Real quick, you guys are making moves around the airport to make sure you sort of secure stuff for the airport's future.
Yeah, I mean, the airport is a huge asset for the community. Obviously, the owner of Wheatland Tubing uses it quite a bit. And obviously, Chicagoland Skydiving is our major tenant out there. I do hear from folks who I've met with who know pilots who come and land there just to eat at flight deck. So it's a huge asset for the community. About 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, we purchased the large car facility, and then we released it to him, but we now own that, and that's another revenue source. And we've talked about doing some other things out there recreation-wise for the long term to increase revenue opportunities for the airport. But again, it's in my 8 years here, and I'm only saying 8 years, not like I did these projects per se. I worked with my staff to oversee them, but just that's my time that I've been here, so I can talk about those projects. We've had major runway revamping and taxiway revamping, and so it's a great facility that's utilized considerably. There's a lot of pilots out there that rent space from us, so yeah, a lot of great work that's been going on. And but then you talk about if as they make federal budget cuts in the future, are some of these programs going to go away? I don't know. We haven't heard that they are, but those programs out at the airport are 95% federal and state funded. It's 90% federal, 5% state, and 5% local match. So there's a lot of federal dollars in that airport, and as long as those dollars are available, we'll continue to use them towards improvements at the airport.
Let's shift gears just a little bit. Big event happening September 11th at the flight deck, speaking of.
Yes.
To support the Rochelle Community Action Network, the big holiday shopping trip program. What do you guys have going on out there? A lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, so I'm on the Rotary board, and every year, I think is it the shopping, I've volunteered for that shopping events every year since I've been here, excuse me, with the exception of the 1 year it was closed for COVID. But it really benefits a lot of folks who don't have access to some of the things we do, and it benefits kids in our community, and I think it's a great thing. So Rotary, for the last 3 years, has done a fundraiser to help generate additional dollars so we can increase the amount of money these kids take with them to Walmart. My first year here, it was $75, and last year it was a $100 gift card. So over the last several years, they've generated more revenues, and the CAN board has, to increase the amount of dollars that the kids can use for the shopping network. So yeah, September 11th, we're having a volleyball tournament. Buzz by Sunset's going to be out at Flight Deck. The event runs from 5 to 9. It's $10 to get in, and you can listen to a band, watch some really good volleyball. It's a cash bar and hors d'oeuvres, and light food is going to be served. And our goal is to raise $3,000 for the shopping network. So
got something to do on the 11th.
Absolutely.
Go out, support the Rotary Club and the CAN program at the Flight Deck, and help put some smiles on kids' faces for Christmas.
That's what it's all about.
Jeff Fiegenschuh, thank you so much for joining us. If somebody has any questions about the city of Rochelle, potential future business ideas, or they want to, I don't know, come up with a way to give you guys more money for the holiday trip program for CAN, how can they get a hold of you or get a hold of the city?
They can reach me at jfiegenschuh at cityofrochelle.org. Rochelle.il.us. I say my email so many times, or I have it down that when you ask me to say it, I forget it. Just contact me at City Hall. I honestly don't know my office number, but everybody who wants to get a hold of me either emails me or they have my cell number. But you can reach me at City Hall. If you ever have any ideas or concerns about what's going on in the community, reach out. We take public input seriously, and we're here to serve our residents. So everybody's job and everybody's goal is to make Rochelle a better place to live, and that's what we want to do.
And there's always an empty chair or two at the city council meetings. You're more than welcome to wander in.
They can wander in. 6:30s at the second and fourth Monday of the month.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.